My name is Joanne, and my assault occurred in Washington County. My sexual assault occurred on a date, and I had had contact with that person for about 2 months leading up to the date. I felt like I knew the person enough that I didn't feel like they would be unsafe. Um, Went on a date, had a drink, and left my drink on the bar. And when I came back from the bathroom to ironically do my check-in with my date friend, I always had a safe friend that I would call. I drank a little bit. There was a new drink there, and I drank it, and I felt sick. I felt really sick within about 5-10 minutes. And we had walked down to another part of the establishment that we were at, and I could barely walk by then. And I went to the bartender and asked him for some water, and I couldn't explain, but I was like seeing double by then. And the bartender gave me some water. I don't remember a lot of what happened the next hour or so, but the part that I started remembering was that I was in a car and I was getting the crap beat out of me, and it just progressed to a sexual assault. I couldn't get out of the car. The doors were locked. I was in the back of the car. And I was able to talk my way out of that car. And so I didn't go to the police right away. I went to work the next morning. I took a lot of ibuprofen. Went to work, and I teach, so I have to stand a lot, and I couldn't get through my day. I had handprints and punch marks all over me. And I remember my teacher's assistant going, "Joanne, what is wrong with you today?" And I just said, I gotta go home. And I drove home, tried to still keep my routine for my kids, brought them to youth group that night, and then I still was like trying to keep control of my schedule and of my life, and try to fit in help for myself. So then I went to I still had not told anybody what had happened. I went to the hospital, and I didn't even know how to tell the charge nurse. I remember at the ER, they're like, "Well, why are you here?" And I just froze, because I think that was the first moment that it really hit me, that I was really there because I had been raped. And I tried to say it and couldn't say it to the nurse. So I asked for a piece of paper, and she's just looking at me like I was so like, what is this lady doing? I don't know what she was thinking about me, but she just looked at me strange. So I wrote it down, and I said, "I'm here because I was raped." And that is the first time that I told anybody. And then I saw the rape. They had a special nurse that worked with me, and doing the exam and everything. But I was so ashamed of the situation, and being in a situation where I could be raped. And I just wanted it to go away, but I knew that my injuries were enough that I had to get some medical help, because I had been bleeding. I had just beat marks all over me, and I knew I needed help. And I know that the nurse was great. She asked me lots of questions, and they sent a sexual assault resource gal to the hospital to talk with me. And honestly, I still mentally was still at a place where I just didn't want to talk about it. I was okay with the nurse because I felt a little safer with the nurse, because I knew that she was legally obligated not to tell anybody. So in the back of my head, I was like, okay. And then you have this other person come in who I know was trained, but it was just so humiliating, because they're taking pictures of you. They're taking pictures of every area of you, and they're diagramming the bruises and the injuries, and you kind of feel like you're in this petri dish, and then everybody wants to talk to you about how you feel, and the very last thing you want to do is talk about your feelings, and because you want it, at least for me, I wanted it to go away, and then I felt like there was this pressure. Okay, well, you don't want this person to get away with it, so you're going to want to talk to a police officer, and we can have police officers there. And And, you know, up until the point that I wrote that down on the little note to the ER person, I really hadn't accepted that I had been raped.